How do you evaluate this team so far?
Listen, what I've liked is the way we've progressed from the start. Our defensive game has really improved the last few weeks. You saw in the trip, like at the beginning of the year, we changed the system, so there was some adjustment from a lot of players. I felt we turned pucks over a lot at the start, which we've been a lot better. I think against Seattle, we gave up 8 or 9 scoring chances, which when you do that more often than not, you'll win games. It took a while to win it because we had to go to shootout, but I like the way we're progressing. There's still work to do. I like the confidence of our players right now, and it's a tough league, right? If you look at the start of December coming up, after those 3 games here, we have, I think we're playing Tampa, Colorado, Tampa, Florida, Vegas, Anaheim, Tampa. So that's, well, we've done a great job in the last trip, but we are taking it one game at a time. You know, we're focused on Boston tonight, and we're trending in the right direction, which is nice to see. And I like the vibe around our team, the players. You know, Patrick talked about joy, and you can see there's joy the way they're playing. They believe in every game we have a chance to win, whether we're down or not. You know, even some games, you look at the St. Louis game, might not have been our best game, but we pushed in the third. We gave ourselves a chance to tie it up. Unfortunately, we didn't. So there's no games that the guys don't feel they can win, which is a great mentality to have.
What do you just make of the power play? I know obviously statistically it's dead last, but it looks dangerous. Just what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you look on the, I mean, everybody's got different expected goals data, but from what I look at, like we're I'm not saying we're top 5, but we're still around the 10 to 15. Like, so it hasn't gone in. And the good thing, it doesn't kill the momentum in games because I think we have chances. But at the end of the day, we're in a result-oriented business, so we'll have to score goals eventually. Which, you know, that St. Louis game is the best example. 6-on-4 would have been a perfect time. You score there, you start the overtime on the power play. So it's a work in progress. But I think we get in the zone great. We rarely like. It doesn't happen very often that, you know, you spend the whole 2 minutes going in the zone, coming in your zone, back and forth. So I think the goals will come. We just have to trust the process. We're doing a lot of good things. By the end of the day, of course, we can say all we want. We have great chances. We'll have to score. But I'd be more worried if we struggle. Like we're gaining entry, we're creating chances, we're moving the puck well. So you hope that regression comes at one point.
Injuries, obviously, are a part of any season, right? How comfortable are you where you are with the organizational depth to withstand those kind of injuries? And at one point, do you start to think that you might have to look outside the organization?
Well, I constantly look at ways to improve the team, whether it's from within or looking at opportunities outside. My job is to always, you know, I'm on the phone all the time. You're just listening to what's going on out there. Right now, like the way we've played, even on this trip, the last, you know, Romy's missed the last 3 games. We won 2 out of 3, and he's missed time at the beginning of the year also. So there's players that step up. Boki's played pretty well in the last few games, and you know, when Marshall Warren played, he played well, and now Mitchell's here. Probably won't be in tonight, but if there's an opportunity, so I'm very comfortable with giving the guys we have a chance, but my job is to always look, and if we have options to improve the team, I'll do it. But there's always a cost to anything you do. So I think especially at forwards right now, we've had 2 forwards out every game. So yeah, we have injuries right now, but I'll, you know, knock on wood a bit. But we've been fairly, when you look at other teams, if I look at even my former team that we're going to play a lot, like if you look at they're losing they've played the last 2 weeks with basically their best 3Ds out, and they've won some games. So it's a next man up mentality.
The way the schedule is this season with the Olympics and where the trade deadline is, do you think the condensed nature of the schedule is going to alter the flow of trades heading into the trade deadline? Could they come maybe before, you know, some bigger trades before the Olympic break?
Well, even if you look the last few years, there's a lot of trades that happen earlier too, because you give more time for it. It doesn't matter who you are. I've experienced, because we've made a lot of trade in Tampa during those years. It takes a few weeks usually for the player to get settled in. He comes in new environment, new coach, new system. So when you're able to, you'd like to do something earlier rather than later. which is not always the case because the teams that's trading a player, they want to wait it out to get the best they can. I think the main thing about the condensed schedule is probably a little bit on the injury front you see around the league. But again, it's. I think what makes it a bit tougher right now too is there's a lot of teams that are still in it. Like it's so tight everywhere. Like other years, sometimes when you get to Thanksgiving, early December, you have teams that, all right, mathematically, of course, they're still there this time of year, but you're looking at it and you're like, well, you know, it's going to be tough. And this year, I mean, for the longest time in the Eastern Conference, you'd win 2 games, you end up in second place, and you lose 2, you were in last place in the conference. Right. So I think there's too many teams that are still in it right now that it's fairly quiet.
Any more clarity on Pajot in terms of where he is?
Pajot, like we expect him to play before Christmas. It's when we say week to week, it's because it's longer than day to day, but it's not month to month either. So we'll see how it progresses, but I would suspect 2 to 3 weeks at the most, if not sooner. So there's nothing concerning on that aspect. There's no surgery needed. There's no anything. It's just healing an old injury. So.
Is there anything on Varley? Like, is he expected out for the year at this point, or?
It's honestly, I'm gonna sound like I don't have an answer, but like it's the same as it's been the last time. He's progressing. I mean, you saw this morning, I don't know if you were here earlier, like he's taking some shots from the goalie coach, but very controlled. So the thing I'll give Varley is he's doing every effort to have no regret at the end, and it's a big rehab. So he's taking the time he's needing, and we're giving all the help he can get, and we'll see where it goes. Because right now I don't have a time frame. It's just he's going through the rehab as it's tolerated, and we'll see where he goes.
With him, and I guess with Romanov too, because his timeline is maybe a little uncertain as it relates to the end of the season. Like, how does that affect how aggressive you can be, going into LTIR, the way the rules have changed this year?
Well, it's more the playoff cap rule that changes this, because during the season we have plenty of cap room right now because we only have Engvall on LTI, but there's a few other guys that we can put on LTI. And all these guys will clear the 10 games, 24 days, so that's not an issue. But we have to make sure for the playoffs we have that flexibility, because now when the playoffs, the difference, it's only 20 players instead of 23. So, but we're planning. I mean, every time we do something, the numbers, when you have a salary cap, the numbers play into the decisions you make. But I think we have fairly good flexibility right now.
Since Cal Ritchie has been called up, what have you seen from how he's been able to settle into the league and also develop his defensive game?
Well, I think, from the start, maybe it was a lot to give him on the second line right away. We just wanted to see it. And then we switched the lines. We're going well. He was doing a great job on the fourth line defensively. That's what I've been impressed is that as a young guy, sometimes he struggled defensively. He's really helped our fourth line defensively. And now you've seen over the last 3-4 games, the offense is starting to come, which is great to see. He seemed to have developed pretty good chemistry with Shabby, and they're playing well right now. And now he has an opportunity while Pajot's out to play a few more meaningful minutes. But I think I would say the last week to 2 weeks is really where he took the step, and he's contributing even more. So we're happy with his progress.
What have you seen from Patrick Roy so far this season, and how would you, characterize your relationship, through these first couple of months?
Well, it's been great. We communicate constantly. We're on the same page on how we want to play. Communicating with players, we talk every single day. Even on a day off, we'll get on the phone and chat. So it's been great. And I didn't know much about Patrick before working with him, but you can see his passion. I mean, you saw his passion in Dallas, and it was genuine. He was mad, and as we all are. We lost a player for the regular season, which it's tough for us, but I think he's done a great job. It's funny, one of the piece of advice I got from my previous boss is, when you get this job, you need to be able to be on the same page as your coach. If you're not on the same page as your coach, it's very tough for it to work, and Patrick and I are definitely on the same page. And from our discussions over the summer and how we feel we want to play and what we feel about the lineup, and we talk about the lineup every day. At the end of the day, coaches coach, managers manage. I want him to coach, but he takes my opinion and he makes his decisions, and it's great that we're on the same page.
Where are you as far as building out the analytics department or other sort of parts of the organization? I know you made some hires there, but like how close are you to where you want to be with that?
Well, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get to where I feel we should be. But we've made big strides in the last few months. We're starting to get some data that, listen, there's some of the people we hired, I always joke that, they're smart when they don't put their undergrad on their resume. They only put their masters and their PhDs, so they're a lot smarter than me. They're math people, and so we're building out the department. We have a good chunk of data now, but it's a big undertaking to modernize that part. So we're moving forward with it, and it's going to take a few months, but that's why we're hiring people. We're going to hire someone else soon. We're up to about 4 or 5 full-time people now, and but it's a big undertaking because there's a lot of data, especially when you incorporate the puck and player tracking that the NHL gives. That's it's a huge file of data that you want to, and building your own models and things like that. So, but we have great people working on it, and I always joke that they're a lot smarter than I am, and I tell them what I want, but how they do it, that's math that are above what I studied in college. So I let them do that.
Hey, we've chatted about this, but just on the record, how important was it, and what was the process like for Patrick to be comfortable and hire his own assistant coaches, which is, I know, is something you wanted him to be able to do?
Yeah, for sure. For where I came from, that's what I saw. Where I came from, the team has had coaches come and go, and you're involved with the coach in the search. To me, he's the head. I mean, he's the head coach, so he runs that coaching department. So he has to be comfortable with who he wants to work with. Like I always say, we're going to come up with a list together. You decide. I only have the veto of saying no on someone because I do my due diligence too if I hear some red flags somewhere. But besides that, I want him to be comfortable with the people he's working with. And Ray and Boogie have been great additions, personality-wise, skill-wise. So I think Patrick's really comfortable working with them also.
In terms of international competition, is the Islanders, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but does this organization want any player who gets the opportunity to have a chance to play internationally, be it the Olympics or maybe even the World Juniors coming up?
Well, yeah, Mathieu Schaefer's not going to World Junior, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, it's an opportunity. I would never restrict a player from representing their country. It's an honor, especially at the Olympics now. It's been since 2014. It's been over 10 years that the NHL hasn't been in the Olympics, and those players, they've gone. Most of them, they weren't. Most of the players in the league weren't playing pro yet the last time we went to the Olympics. For most of the players, especially on our team, so it's an awesome opportunity for them. And you know what? Let's say. Of course, I'm Canadian. I'll talk about Team Canada, but you go and spend time with the guys like Sidney Crosby and guys like that. You can only grow as an athlete, as a player. So it's a great opportunity for any player, and it's great for our team. It's great for to play in those competitive environments can only help them when they come back to the NHL after.
Where do you feel like Schaefer should be in those discussions?
No, that's not for me to answer. I'm not part of the management group. I mean, we talk with them, but you know what? At the end of the day, you saw the news that they've added him to the testing, and he's deserved it. It has nothing to do because he's Mathieu Schaefer's the first pick. Is the way he's played. Everybody around the league has been extremely impressed the way he's played, offensively and defensively. We always talk about the flash of the skating and all that, but the reality is, to be able to play on those teams, you got to be able to defend because you play the U.S., a great team. You play Sweden, so you got to be able to play that way. And the reason he's put himself in the conversation is because of his play. So he should be very proud at 18 years old that at the minimum he's in the conversation. And now they have probably another month or 5 weeks before they name teams, and we'll see what happens.
What gave you the confidence that David Rittich could bounce back after a tough year in LA when you guys signed him?
Well, I mean, we've seen the year before his numbers were great in LA. He's had good moments in Calgary, and when you're looking for a goalie, and obviously you have the cap and all that, we fell with his experience, and he's got a big personality, which is great. He brings life to the room, and he's played. I mean, he's got the nickname Big Save Dave, so he's done quite a few of those. So we've been extremely happy. He's giving us a chance to win every game he's been in net. So both our goalies right now are playing outstanding every single game when we feel we have a chance to win. So
With the workload that Sorokin's had the last couple of years, how important is it that Riddick can be relied upon the way he has been?
well, for sure. I mean, some goalies can, some goalies want to. I mean, you won't see any more goalies playing 70, 72 games like Marty Brodeur and guys like that. Like, it's not going to happen. The game is too demanding right now. So the more, especially with a condensed schedule now, a lot more back-to-backs. So there's 16 back-to-backs. So right there, there's 16 games that you rarely put your same goalie 2 games in a row. And it gives us so much confidence. All right, we want to relax Soroki's workload, but we know we have a chance to win with it. And sometimes if your backup is struggling, you're like, well, we know he needs a break, but it's going to be a tough game. Right now, like whether Soroki's in net or Dave is in net, like we feel very confident before the game starts.
What's impressed you most about Bo Horvat, his start? And again, not that you make these decisions, but do you think that's somebody who maybe deserves Olympic consideration?
Well, I mean, he deserves consideration, and I'm sure he is. Bo's big strength to join these teams is he can play everywhere up and down the lineup. He can play center, he can play wing. He's 6'1", but he's 225, so he brings some size. He's top 10 in faceoffs, which he can play on a penalty kill. Like a lot of times, people think those Olympic teams are all-star teams. That you want to build a team, and you saw it last year with Canada, with the Hagels, the Sorellis, the Bennett, and every team has those type of. I'm talking more about Canada, just to tease Kimber, but you need to build a team. So and Bo can play up and down the lineup, which is a huge asset for him. So he's having a great start. He's been our offensive leader so far, and the leadership is outstanding. So I hope he gets an opportunity.
You've made it a point to watch a lot of your prospects play in person, not just in Bridgeport, but also Denny Nelson and Notre Dame. What does that in-person element add? Of course, you talk to scouts and staff, but to see them in person, what does that do?
Well, just for me to get my own view on them. We watch them online, but it's different than watching them in person. And it's just to show them that, hey, we're watching. And college players, they could decide to play 4 years and go somewhere else. So you build a relationship with them. So I try to see almost everyone, especially in North America, almost every one of our drafted prospect at least once. So I time it during our trips. I've been to Barrie this year. I've been to Notre Dame. Saturday we have 3 of our prospects playing at MSG with Cornell and BU, so I'll be there. And it's just to get a feel of how they play. You talk to their coach after, you talk to them, you build a relationship with them, which is great. So you get a better sense of what's coming. So when you plan your team for next year, well, you see what's coming and you get an idea, well, what do you feel they are in their development? Are they ready to step in? Do they need time in the AHL? So, you try to watch them multiple times, rely on our player development people and our scouts, but it's good to be there in person also.
I know Cole Eiserman dealt with an injury and he's back. He's probably going to play on Saturday. What kind of scouting reports have you gotten on where he is in his recovery and his play this season?
Well, I was told that he's doing fine. Actually, when we played in Boston, he came to the game with his agent, so we chatted with him after, and he had an injury that seemed to be healed right now. As he played last weekend. The first weekend's always a challenge when you come back. But I'm looking forward to seeing him Saturday. We know Cole's he's a goal scorer. That's something you can't teach. Like any player, there's things everybody needs to work on. But he's got a skill that's tough to teach, and that's scoring goals. So we're excited to have him.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that injury delay the timeline for bringing him into the organization at all?
No, because look, he's back playing. It was just like a few weeks of like I'm sure a bunch of our prospects will have injuries during the season. So there's nothing. It's not like a surgery like Romy does that he's out 5-6 months. He missed 2-3 weeks. So it's just we'll see how he is at the end of the year.
The way he plays, he's a goal scorer, right? And he told us the day he was drafted, I'm a different kind of player. How much of that can there be coming into the NHL, and how much flexibility does there need to be on Cole's part to learn to be a complete NHL player?
Well, I mean, every young kid when they come in, like even Mathieu when he came in, there's things he had to learn, and there's things everybody. When you're 30 years old, there's still things you're learning. I always use the line my mom used to say is the day you stop trying to improve is the day you start regressing, right? Yeah. So everybody has, and at the end of the day, when you guys asked me before the season what my expectations were Matthew Schaefer. I said his play will dictate where he plays, and it's the same thing with Cole. When he comes in and he plays pro games, how he plays, how he reacts to those, because we can project how we feel they're going to play pro, but until they actually play, you never know. Some adjust way better than you thought, and some of them, well, you know, it's a longer learning curve. So we'll see when he turns pro how he adapts to the pro game.